Hello, Gogokid Teachers. Teacher Holly here, and I'm here to talk about how to get more bookings. Isn't that what everybody cares about? How to get more bookings? Well, I have a few tips for you. Actually, I have some tasks for you. Some simple things you can do today, this week, to help boost your bookings. But before we get to that, I want to tell you a tale about a clothing store that was struggling. This was a cute little clothing store with cute clothes in it, and they wanted more clients. They wanted more people to shop there, but they kept making these simple mistakes that if they had just changed them ever so slightly, it would have turned the business around and clients would have come flooding through their doors to buy those cute clothes. Well, here's the first mistake this clothing store made. They did little to no advertising. People just didn't even know they were there. Another mistake they made, they were only open very limited hours. Think about it. Not open that often, you're not going to get that many clients to come through and shop at your store. And when they did have some hours on a certain day, the manager, the employees, they were all late. They were late to work. And so they kept customers, potential customers, waiting. And when they arrived, from the manager to the employees, everybody looked sloppy and unprofessional. It wasn't a great experience. In fact, they did not even provide a good customer experience for those shoppers. They weren't even ready for them. And the clothing store, cute clothes, but very few. There was a very limited selection. This poor store, they were trying, they wanted to succeed, but they kept making these mistakes. If they had just made some small changes, they would have succeeded. I think the metaphor might be obvious. Your online teaching business is the exact same way. Small changes can make a huge difference and boost your bookings. Okay, let's talk about it. That clothing store, little to no advertising. What is your advertising here at Gogokid? Your profile, of course. Make sure your profile is on point. Make sure you've got good lighting coming your way, a bright smile, and an engaging yet professional looking photograph. And then in your video, make sure you speak slowly, you articulate well. Again, keep that smile going and look directly into that camera, demonstrating skills such as TPR and props, and of course, lots of enthusiasm. And in your written biography, tell not just about you, but what you will do for your students, right? This is your advertising copy, so to speak. Talk about what you're going to do for your students and be warm and welcoming. So your task here with regard to advertising is to change one thing in your profile once a week for the next 3 weeks. Give that a try. Okay, back to our clothing store. They were only open limited hours. I don't know about you, but a store that's rarely open, I'm probably not going to frequent because I'll always be wondering when I can shop there. Same thing here at Gogokid. Your hours are your time slots. So open as many as you possibly can, especially peak time. You know that, especially peak time. And then make sure they're consistent, that you're open the same times as much as possible from week to week to week. That way your clients know that they can count on you. All right, so your task with your open hours is to go review your portal and your own schedule and then ask yourself, how can I make more slots become available? How can I keep them open and keep them consistent? All right, remember I said those store employees, they were often late. They kept customers waiting. Whew, you would think this one would be obvious, but this is super important. If you have a class booked, be on time and never, ever no show. No showing is the worst advertising you can possibly do. You don't want to advertise that. You want to make sure you show up and you're on time. So your task this week, my friend, is to set 3 alarms and double check your personal schedule so you don't accidentally double book yourself. And remember I said not only did those employees not show, but when they did, they looked sloppy and unprofessional. Well, what is professional at Gogokid? Your classroom and you. Have an educational background. We already talked about that. Great lighting. And be well groomed again with the smile. I cannot even say this enough. That smile goes a long way. So here's your task. And this one might make us a little uncomfortable. Go back and watch a replay of one of your classes, but be brave enough to watch it on mute. No sound. Look and just observe. What do you see? What do you notice about yourself and about your classroom when you can't hear it? You might find some interesting things at that point. All right, and then remember that manager and those employees, when they showed up at their store and they showed up on time, actually, they still did not even provide a good customer experience. Well, your customer experience here at GoKid is what? Your student having a phenomenal class with you. That's the great customer experience. So make sure you preview the lesson ahead of time, prepare those props, those games and rewards, and teach an awesome class. Some of the best advertising is yourself being an awesome teacher and teaching phenomenal classes. So your task this week, attend a workshop at Gogokid and get some tips for improving your skills in the classroom. We can always get better. All of us can always get better. All right, remember I said if you walked in that store, they had some cute things, but just not very much? Well, that's a limited selection. So, what limits you at Gogokid? Being certified for as many things as you possibly can. That is going to make you unlimited. You want to be able to be available to as many students as you possibly can. So check your portal. What is open for you to certify in? Remember, the more you can offer to your students, your clients, the more you can offer them, the more you will attract. So your task this week is to make it your goal to add one certification a week until you have all the certifications that you are eligible for. So, how do you get more, and more bookings here at GoKid? Act like that clothing store and make those changes. Look at what you're doing, make those small tweaks, and see if you can improve your bookings that way. Advertise with a great profile. Number 2, open hours with those peak time slots wide open. Show up by setting multiple alarms and double checking your schedule, and look great by having an educational background and being well groomed. Provide a great customer experience by teaching awesome classes. And finally, number 6, improve your selection by certifying in everything you possibly can. Make those tweaks, do those tasks, and you will get more bookings here at Gogokid. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thanks and happy teaching.